Hi, it's your girl, Intuitively D, and I'm back with a new video. This is for the full moon eclipse, Scorpio. That's happening May 5th, 2023. So that's about a week and a half away. And depending on your time zone, it's happening at different times for everybody. So just make sure you check out your time zones for that. But here we go. This is a full moon eclipse that's happening in Scorpio. Let's chat about Scorpio. When we talk about Scorpio, it's the ruler of the 8th house. It's ruled by Mars. And some of the characteristics that we attribute to Scorpio is passion, emotional intensity. It's a fixed water sign. It is a workhorse when it comes to emotions. And sometimes it's obsessively obsessed with emotions. It is a sign of extremes. So either they're hella loving, hella emotional, or very cold, which is another emotion, honestly. But they're passionate. I don't slander Scorpios. I have a good time with them. I think they tell it like it is, even if it's not what you are willing to hear. And I appreciate that, being a Capricorn sun. So, they are also known for mysticism, right? The healing arts and the occult. And so when we take this full moon, I think I mentioned obsessive, jealousy, and greed, because that's what we usually associate it with it. It's in a full opposition to Uranus and Taurus. So when we think about Taurus, we think about the body, we think about pleasure, we think about being stable, especially in our finances, emotionally stable. And then when we think about Uranus, we think about a planet of chaos, bringing us to a solution in the most unlikely way. And now we're in this opposition period, in an eclipse period, where you're really going to want to let things go. Things get resolved, but they probably don't get resolved in the way that you think they would have gotten resolved. It's going to probably be some wild way that a solution comes about. Let me read a couple of things before I get into what this could mean for your rising sign. So stay tuned after this little intro video for your rising sign. If you like my content, please share, subscribe, comment, and I'll keep putting stuff out. So if the moon and Uranus are having an exchange, personally, you might have reactions that are tinged with a streak of originality and unpredictability. You really want to express yourself in an unrestrained way, liberation, freedom. And Uranus and Taurus. Taurus has a tendency to want to look like and assimilate, whereas Uranus does not want to assimilate at all. Scorpios don't want to assimilate at all. So there's this opposition in that regard. And you might be looking for security and stability. So during this full moon, you might want to do something around releasing the things that are not going well in regards to stable home life, stable finances, stable resources, because of the opposition to Taurus. So if you have been in a relationship that your home life is chaotic and not stable, your finances are not stable, you might want to start figuring out how you can exit. Same with your job, same with friendships. If you're in any situation where it is not a stable, grounding environment, it is going to be brought up during this time. And that is super typical. I'm not one of those astrologers or intuitive coaches that says immediately leave a situation. I know how hard it is to leave things that are not necessarily good for you, but you can take steps to move forward so you then can create independence. And that's what really this Uranus and Taurus is speaking to. I think there was something else I wanted to read also, but maybe not, because I didn't thumbs it down. But if you have any questions about this, let me know in the comments. Stay tuned for the full moon eclipse for all the signs is going through from Aries to Pisces. There's always going to be a tarot for that. And let me know what you think. See you soon. Hi, Aries rising. This is your full moon and Scorpio eclipse video with the tarot pool. So let's talk about it. This full moon in Scorpio is happening in your 8th house, the house of intimacy, healing, death, and rebirth, shared finances, inheritances, and it's opposing Taurus in your Uranus and Taurus in your 2nd house, the house of financial stability, earned income. So what are you going to have to release in the 8th house? Partnerships, shared resources, so you can feel completely stable and confident in your own personal finances. And I know that might be tricky because you've had a lot of energy in your 1st house, but this might not be tricky because during the new moon eclipse that you just had in your 1st house, you might have realized the situations and partnerships that you're in are really not great for you. So you have said, you know what? Yeah, I do need to break the ties of this this relationship, this business partnership, not necessarily business partnership. This is a romantic partnership that it's not leaving you feeling financially comfortable and stable. And yeah, so hopefully this works out for you. Let's pull a card and see where it takes us. I can't read. The 4 of Cups in reverse. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Where are you feeling emotionally unstable in your partnerships? This is about emotions. It's about if it was upright, somebody is not quite giving you the love and support that you need, deserve. There's just something off about it. But in reverse, it means you probably know what it is and you may be biding your time to say the things you need to say to that person. This is the opportunity to release, let go of that person, or have that conversation where y'all can come to some kind of compromise so everything can work out well for you. I hope this was helpful. Hi, Taurus rising. This Scorpio full moon is happening in your 7th house, the house of relationships, business partnerships, and contracts of that nature. And with this full moon being in Scorpio in your 7th house, opposing Uranus in Taurus in your 1st house, this is really about romantic partnerships and what do you need to let go? Where have you been obsessing? Where have you maybe been jealous? Maybe your partner's been obsessing over you. Maybe your partner's been showing a little bit of jealousy, or vice versa, however that's going for you. And it is no longer resonating with you as a person and who you want to be authentically. And so it's time to either have that conversation with that person, or it's time to disconnect from that person. This could also be with business partnerships, connections with friends also. So if you have been in a situation with a business partner and it's just not working because there might be some kind of secretive miscommunication, just some wonkiness that is not sitting right with your soul and it's not allowing you the freedom that you need, it's time to either have the conversation to see if there can be some type of compromise, or you let it go. And like I said in my very first video, I know it's difficult to let things go that you have been in for quite a while, but this is a really good time to start making steps to release yourself from things that are just not really good for you and not allowing you to show up as your most authentic self, especially when it comes to you being stable financially, you being stable in your home situation. If your romantic partnerships and your business partnerships are not pushing you forward in that way, this is a very good time to reevaluate it. And this could be vice versa. Maybe you're the person that's doing that to your partner, but more than likely, I feel like this is happening to you. So remember, if you're a fixed rising sign like you are, there's going to be a lot of squares and a lot of just pressure for you to become who you're meant to be. So don't take this as an attack. Take this as a time to realign with who you want to be moving forward. All right. I hope this was helpful. Oh, I almost forgot. Let's pull a card. Let's pull a card for this full moon. The Chariot in reverse. So maybe you don't quite see the path. Maybe the path of how to release yourself from this situation is not very clear. This is going to be a great time to do maybe some meditation, some journaling, some talk therapy if that's been something that you've been thinking about. This also would be a good time to move your body, and maybe during the movement ideas come to you. But this is a time for you to probably go inward and really figure it out, because you really can't see clearly. You really can't see how to move forward clearly, and that's understandable because we've had so much change over the last 2.5 years. So yeah, let me know if this has been helpful. Hi, Gemini rising. This is your full moon and Scorpio eclipse video. This is happening in your 6th house, that house of health and fitness, diet, your daily schedule, maybe the authority at your job or coworkers. And with that being said, I did a video yesterday or the day before about what Taurus season means for you, and it really means creating a schedule that is stable and grounded so you can really be mentally fit, physically fit. And so with this full moon that is opposing Uranus and Taurus in your 12th house, it is really about, what do you need to let go? Like, come on. What do you need to let go so that your mental health is at its peak, at its optimum capacity? Does that make sense? What do you need to release? What do you need to let go so that you are feeling very good emotionally? That's the simplest way I can say this for you. Maybe you've been feeling frazzled. Maybe you've been feeling chaotic, ho-hum, a little sad. And this is not to say that, oh my God, this journaling that you're going to do is going to relieve all of the mental pressure and health shit that you have going on. But this can be one step to getting better, especially when it comes to mental health. Of course, this could be your physical health, like really realizing you getting up at you sleeping all day, or you not taking a walk, or you not getting out in the sun, or you not hanging out with friends is really detrimental to your mental health. So this could be a time where you're like, okay, let me just go out for coffee with a friend, or let me just really make that appointment with a therapist or an astrologer or a hypnotist or whoever, because 12th house stuff. And you might be surprised on what that does for your emotional well-being. And so I wish you nothing but the best during this full moon, but I think it's time for you to get serious about your physical and mental health. Okay, here's a card for you. Queen of Pentacles. So while the house, the 6th house is an earth sign, it's ruled by Virgo, and Pentacles is it's a earth card, and Queen of Pentacles knows how she knows how to make her money. She knows what she wants. She has it. And so this might have something to do with how your daily schedule might be affecting your work life. Maybe your colleagues are now feeling your stuff and it's just not going well. But here's the thing, when you can get that mental health thing together, then the work thing comes together, and then the money thing comes together. And so it might be an unusual way to go, or this might be an unusual route, Uranus, to getting the finances and the job that you need. But I just kind of feel like this is what it's about. But yeah, let me know if this resonates with you. Drop me a comment. Hi, Cancer rising. This is your full moon in Scorpio eclipse. read with a tarot pull. This is happening in your 5th house. So that 5th house is that house of creativity. It's the house of dating and romance, and it's also the house of children. So it's opposing your 11th house of friendships and networking and social media. So here's the thing. I'm thinking this has something to do with, this could be a time for you to really release those obsessive, compulsive things when it comes to your dating life. If they're not healthy, if you're like, I don't want to say stalking, because I feel like, you know, we all do the peaks at people's social media about the people that we're dating. We're like, oh, let me see what they're doing on their timeline. Let me see if they're talking to anybody else or something like that. But it could be a time where you need to really like let that go, and because it just really is not healthy, honestly. It's about letting go it's about releasing this maybe obsession that you have with things have to be perfect when you're dating, perfect when you're creating, perfect when you're for your children, and that's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. So use this full moon to really come to some kind of compromise with yourself. Because this is all about self. It has nothing to do with all we have control over is ourself. So it's about coming to some compromise on how you realistically are going to date or be romantic, or it's a conversation you need to have with somebody you're dating about like, hey, I saw you on, I was looking at one of your posts and it didn't sit right with me. Let's have a grown-up conversation with it instead of just like being resentful and acting out on that. It's a conversation with yourself saying like, hey, I've been feeling very stagnant in my creative ventures. What do I need to do to get some fresh energy? And maybe with children too, maybe you've been obsessing about your children and not giving them space and freedom to do what they need to do, especially when it comes to maybe looking at their social media. This is for people that have kids that have social media and you're like, you don't like what you're seeing. Maybe it's time to talk to them about it, but it's really about you and how you are feeling about those things and the things that you need to let go so you can come to a better sense of self when when those things come up. Let's pull a tarot. I hope that made some sense. Let's pull some tarot for you, or a tarot card for you. Let's see. Ace of Pentacles, new beginnings with finances, a new financial beginning. And when we talk about creativity, the 5th house creativity, and we talk about the 11th house, sometimes your creativity is seen by friends. It's seen on social media, creating opportunities for financial greatness. So if you've been feeling stuck and stagnant and you just don't know how to move forward, or you've been obsessing about not putting out the right creative thing, it is holding you back financially, because that not right thing might be the right thing when you post it on your TikTok, on your Instagram, on your YouTube, on your whatever, and it might get out there into social media ethers and find the right crowd and really offer this financial abundance to you, this financial opportunity. I hate like the phrase of abundance, but like this opportunity for growth and for success, right? So definitely get out there. Definitely do some journaling, maybe some meditations, maybe some walking in the earth, and figure out why you're feeling so stuck creatively. Oh my God, creatively. And let me know how this works out for you. Hi Leo rising, this is your full moon in Scorpio eclipse video, and I giggle because I'm a Leo rising and it's happening in our 4th house. And like I told Taurus, there is changes inevitable. and to be a fixed sign where we don't like change at all. We have really been put through the ringer this last 2.5 years, and we'll kind of continue to be put through the ringer for the summer also, as we have lots of oppositions and squares to our 1, 4, 7th, and 10th house. And so this is happening in your 4th house. What can I say? With a direct relation to Uranus and Taurus in your 10th house. The 4th house is the house of home and family, foundation, stability. And if you are a Leo rising, if you're watching this, you're a Leo rising, you know how chaotic the home life has been probably ever since you were born. It's just not been stable, you know? And so here we go with something to help you make sure it becomes more stable, honestly. Let me stop giggling and be like a little bit serious about it. It's going to affect your 10th house, the house of career and public image, the house of reputation and how you are seen out in the world. So with this Scorpio full moon eclipse, it's asking you, what do you need to let go of to make sure your home and your family is grounded, stable, and secure? And this might be, do you need to do something in the 10th house to have that happen? Like, do you need to change the career, or is the partnership, are you getting married or engaged, and that's going to affect your stability in the home, or your home and your family life, or vice versa? Are you inviting somebody in the home, into your home, or changing homes so it can so it is going to affect your career? Whatever situation that you're in, home life, job. In my chart, I do it like this because it looks like that. It is about really being open to letting things go that are no longer working for you in the home life sector. If it is a change in home, if you are applying, if you're like, I really hate where I live, but you've just been too overwhelmed with all the other shit that's going on and you haven't put out the application or looked for other places, it's time to really get over that and start looking. If you need to have talks, healing talks with family members, maybe you're just like, yeah, we were on some bullshit and we need to have a conversation so we can move forward in this familial relationship, it's time to do that. If you need to have a talk about maybe your career is moving, which is great. All of these things can be great, but it's a change, and you know, we don't really like change, and it's going to affect your home life. So definitely take some time and figure out what you need to let go of to create a more secure, stable home life situation for you. Let's choose a card. Let's pick a card. See what the cards have to say. We are going to mix that back in there and do this one more time. They just been flipping. Let me just make sure they're all the right. Yeah, as a Leo rising, man, it's been a lot. But you know, what can we say? Mars in our 12th. Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's see. I cannot see to save my life. Oh God. 6 of Cups in reverse. You know, it's crazy because you probably haven't been feeling the most reached out to by family. Like you might be feeling ignored by them and you wish you can connect with them again, but you have changed and they really just don't see it. I don't know. Or maybe your career has changed and just has brought some distance and you haven't had time to link up with them. And so you're feeling like there is some distance. So let this be a time where you go inward and you figure out why there's that distance. And if there is a way to mend it, if there is a way to reconnect, then let this be a time for you to find how to do that. I hope this has been helpful. Hi Virgos, this is your full moon in Scorpio video with a terrible at the end. And this is happening in your 3rd house. So the 3rd house is the house of communication. It's the house of short distance travel. It's also the house of siblings. And with Scorpio, with the full moon in Scorpio in this house, this could be talking about releasing some things about connecting with siblings. Maybe they have done some things to you and you just feel very hurt and you need to have a conversation around it, or really let the relationship simmer down a little bit before you reconnect. This could also mean you might be obsessing or not being able to get out your like a creative project when it comes to writing. So maybe the blog, the book, the essay, whatever that might mean for you. It's just you've maybe been going over it, proofreading it 100 times, or second guessing yourself 1,000,000 times. It's time to release that and just, you know, be okay with, like, this is good enough. This is good. I'm good. Or this could be short, you know, it's also the house of short distance travel. So maybe you just can't pick where you want to go. Things are not lining up and you're like, oh my God, what the heck is going on? Why can't this trip line up with people's vacations, or line up with my, you know, whatever. You might be feeling just ho-hum about that, especially because it has it's opposing Uranus and Taurus in your 9th house, which is long distance travel, which is higher courses, higher knowledge, so taking courses, and spirituality. So this could be you reading texts or wanting to speak on your new faith, your new spirituality, or take a course, and things are just not working out for you at this moment. It's just not connecting. And so take some time, take a deep breath, know that you have whatever you need and you can move forward in it. You can release that book. You can find a course that you need to take. You can write that paper on whatever you need to write that paper on. You can explore a new spiritual practice if you really want to, okay? Let's pull a card. King of Swords and the reverse. So you're just not, how funny, communication. You are not getting the communication that you want, that you need to hear, or you are not communicating clearly and thoughtfully because of some junk, some emotional junk you have going on in the background. So either you're not hearing people because of your emotional baggage, or you have emotional baggage and you're projecting it onto people, and that's how you're communicating with them. And then there creates the miscommunication. So take some time, take several deep breaths. It's not going to last forever. And then have that conversation with that person. All right. I hope this was helpful. Hi Libras, this is your full moon and Scorpio eclipse video with a tarot pull at the end. This is happening in the 2nd house, that 2nd house of earned income, financial stability, and self-confidence, self-worth. So with this full moon, it is asking you what is no longer serving you, that's creating some maybe financial instability, maybe some self-worth, self-confidence, self-esteem issues. What do you need to do to let go of them so you can move forward and ask for that raise, see your value, and live your best life? It is opposing Uranus and Taurus in your 8th house. And if you look at Aries video, it's very similar, right? Because you guys are sister signs, it's just in the reverse. So maybe there's something in your intimate relations that is making you feel like shit, honestly. And you're like, is this person for me? Is this person really uplifting me, helping me, supporting me? And this does not mean financially, but supporting maybe you, asking for that raise, or supporting you and looking for a new job so you can make more money, supporting you in when you're doing your affirmations in the restroom, or going to therapy to really work on your self-esteem. Is that person who you share intimate details with supporting you? So this is a time to really realign and review and see if those things are working for you. And if it's not, if you're feeling financially unstable, because of the person you're sharing finances with, this is a time to really be like, put up or shut up. eclipse season means things fuck all the way off, and you need to let them fuck all the way off. So if this person uses the last $10 in y'all bank account, and he knew that, or y'all, I hate to say he, and they knew that this was the last $10 that y'all had for whatever, and this is a pattern, come on. This eclipse is like putting it all out there. This full moon is putting it all out there on the things that we really need to let go of, that we know we need to let go of, all right? So here's your tarot. Let's slide that in there somewhere. Sorry, when the cards pop out like that, I just like reorganize them because, like, I know. Let's see. Ace of Cups, right? The in reverse. That offer of love, emotional support, the offer of, love and emotional support is just not there. And this Scorpio moon with this eclipse is really going to highlight how much it is not there. And it is really about going inward, because all we do is have control over ourselves, right? So we can definitely have conversations with our partner. We can definitely communicate our wants and our needs, but if time and time again they show you they don't give a fuck about you, how long do you want to stay there? How long are you willing to accept a reverse Ace of Cups? The first step in flipping this over, so there are new offers of emotional well-being, emotional support, love, is really making yourself a priority, second house things, right? So let me know if this is beneficial. Let me know if this is helpful. Drop me a comment, and I will see you next time. Hi, Scorpio rising. This is your show. You are the star of this full moon. The full moon that's happening in Scorpio with an eclipse in your first house opposing Uranus and Taurus in your seventh house. I know that you have been going through it with trying to be your most authentic self and balancing your relationships, your romantic relationships, maybe your marriage or business contracts that are just like, Uranus is like, oh no, this is not gonna work, boo. Let's create like some chaos, so you let it go. And this full moon is really gonna be asking you yourself, what do you need to give up to create a very stable partnership, romantic partnership, business partnership, friendships. So this is really, the emphasis is on you. It really is on you. And maybe you've been bullshitting your own self, thinking like the marriage you in, the romantic partnership, the business partnerships you're in is cool and shit. This full moon is gonna be like, no girl, no boy, no human. This ain't working for us, okay? Be open. As another fixed sign, I said this for Taurus, I said this for Leo. As a fixed sign, you hate change. So sometimes we will put up with some stuff that is like, we know it don't fit. We know it's not good for us, but because we just don't want to take the step to change, we put up with it. But that is holding you back from your most best self. And I know just as Aquarians, just as Tauruses, just as Leos have been going through it for the last 2.5 years, you have been going through it. And everything that we have been going through has been an opportunity for you to reach your best, to reach your North Star, to reach your destiny, however you want to call it. With all the oppositions and squares that we've had in our first house, our fourth house, our seventh house, and our 10th house, we have been given several opportunities to start fresh and again. But fixed signs don't really like starting fresh and again. We like to just hold on to what we know and keep it going and just hoping for the best and wishing other people would change. The thing that I've learned about all these transits as I'm a Leo rising is that I can't wait for other people to change. I can have several conversations with them about it, but if they're stuck in their own stuff, right? Because everybody's allowed to be stuck in their own self, in their own stuff. However, I don't have to participate. I'm sorry, it's so shaky. I keep knocking into the table. And so I've had to learn that I've really had to make changes. I've had to step forward. I've had to step back. I've had to disconnect. I've had to reconnect to create the life that I've wanted to live. So really, Scorpios, this is a time for you to just look. You know, Mars is the ruler of you. It's aggressive and it's cutting. What do you need to cut out of your life aggressively to move forward in your best life? Okay, let's pull a card. I hope that didn't sound like a lecture, but also I hope it didn't sound like a lecture. You know, I love me some Scorpios. Oh, look at you with the 9 of Pentacles. Yeah, baby, you will not get, you cannot get all that you deserve and all that you want financially, be financially secure, be financially stable, be financially successful, if you don't let go of things that are not letting you be. Right? If you're with a partner, if you're in a marriage and they're taking all your money, or they're not paying their share of the rent, or they are making it so you guys get kicked out of places, or repossessing the car, or whatever it might be, come on. How is that helping you? You could be doing all the greatest things to try to be stable, but if you're linked with somebody's 7th house that is doing the ass opposite, opposition, you need to radically, Uranus, have a conversation with yourself about what you need to do so you can embrace this financial success, this financial stability, this groundedness. Earth, this is Earth energy, okay? I hope you find this helpful. Let me know in the comments. I will see you next time. Hi, Sagittarius risings. Oh my God, I was dancing when your video came on. I saw the countdown and I still continue to dance. How are you? Here is your full moon in Scorpio video with a tarot pull at the end, so stay tuned for the whole thing. This is happening in your 12th house. So if Scorpio ain't being Scorpio, it's going to be Scorpio to you in this 12th house. This full moon is really going to ask you to dive deeply into old patterns of obsession, compulsion, jealousy, mysticism, maybe that you have not really dealt with, and find ways to heal. Excuse me. It is asking you to do those things because it is affecting the 6th house. Uranus and Taurus is in your 6th house. That's the house of health and daily schedule, and dealing with co-workers and authority figures. And so if you are still wrapped in subconscious bullshit, that's as much, I'm going to keep it real with all of y'all. You know, I'm here for the beginner, but I'm also here to keep it very, very real. If you are not dealing with past traumas, triggers, patterns that are just not serving you in any healthy way, and maybe even distracting you, or maybe even playing, what is the word I'm looking for? Sorry, guys. Taking a toll on your mental health and affecting your daily schedule, affecting your health and fitness routines. If you are just pretending that it will go away eventually, this Scorpio full moon is going to bring it all up, and it's going to you are going to be like, I can't, right? So get ahead of it. Do some journaling. I also think this is a time for talk therapy. I'm a huge fan of therapy. I know sometimes you get linked up with the wrong therapist, but like honestly, there's a kabillion therapists out there. Find one that fits you. This also might be a time to, if you're not big on therapy, maybe you need to find an astrologer. Maybe you need to find a life coach. You need to do something to help you cope. You need some new strategies, okay? You need some new strategies, because the things that are happening in the 12th house, that the subconscious things that keep replaying that really are not healthy, are really affecting the way that you're moving in the 6th house. It's really affecting it. And Uranus there is like, come on, how can we problem solve? Come on, let's do it. And it's a wild way of problem solving too. So just be open to that also, okay? Yeah, I hope you find this helpful. Let's pull a card. Let's do this one. Yeah, you've been fighting these battles. And it's internal battles. And I think when it's in the reverse for you, it's about you have recognized, you have started the path to heal, to oh my God, brain, come on, to heal, to attack these internal struggles that you've been going through. And I think this is a positive card. If it was in the upright, you are struggling deeply, but this lets me know that you are struggling, but you have also realized that you are struggling. And so just take that next step forward, whatever that looks like for you, to continue the path of healing, the path of letting least resistance, the path of least resistance. All right, I hope you find this helpful. Hi, Capricorn risings. This is your full moon in Scorpio video. This is happening in your 11th house, the house of friendships, hopes and dreams, social media, technology and networking. And Scorpio being there, it's really about Scorpio full moon eclipse. It's time to release maybe some friendships that are no longer in alignment with your stability and your financial success, and just not emotionally there for you. So this is a time for you to really maybe realign, figure out what is not great for you in regards to your networking system. Maybe your social media has been a little bit thrown off, so now you have to delete some people because it's been making you feel some type of way. Maybe some friendships have been making you feel some type of way, and it is time for you to be like, no, this is not emotionally healthy for me. This is not keeping me emotionally stable. I need to let it go. It also is in opposition to Uranus and Taurus in your 5th house. So maybe it has something to do with dating and romance and children. And it's really about, like, if you're not happy in your friendships, if they are not serving you, and I hate when I say serving because it's reciprocity, but really if you are in situations where people are the takers, and you're the giver, that's not great. So maybe the person that you're dating can introduce you to a new friend group or new network that helps you spread your wings a little bit more. Yeah, I just think like this is a time to reevaluate that. It's been a struggle because you've had so much shit in your 4th house that, like, maybe you haven't had time to think about friends. Maybe you haven't had time to network because your 4th house has been heavy with stuff. So let this be a time for reviewing, realigning, and seeing where it leads you. Let's pull a card for you. Definitely about releasing just things that are not, friendships that are not emotionally healthy, honestly. Yeah. If this was in the upright, I would sense this loneliness, this sadness, this, feeling of this perspective of like, woe is me, even though I have 2 good friends, I lost my 3 best friends or whatever, but it's in the reverse. So slowly but surely you are realizing, oh yeah, I might have lost some people along this way, all the transits that have happened, but I do have some really great people in my life that are super supportive and super helpful, and just there's great reciprocity between us. And so with that, take that and run with it. Be more open with it. Have a good time with those people because those people are your people. I hope this has been helpful. Hi Aquarius Rising, this is your full moon and Scorpio eclipse video with a tarot pull at the end. And so this is happening in your 10th house. What a big house to have this in. It is the house of career and public image, the house of how people see you out in the world, and it's in an opposition with Uranus and Taurus in your 4th house, the house of home and family. So, full moons are a time for releasing. And so this might be a time, especially when it comes to your career and public image, you to really dive deeply into, is this career for me? Is it creating a stable home environment for me? Is it creating stable family relationships? Is my family time wonky because I'm spending so much time in work? It's an unnecessary amount of time at work, like you're obsessing about, or your job is obsessing about you being there and you doing what you need to do, and it's just really taking away time from your home and family life. That can be a theme. I would say watch the Leo video because it's your sister sign and it's some of the same type of things are going on, same type of themes are happening. But this is a time to really let go of self-implemented blocks when it comes to your career. And when I say self-implemented blocks, you thinking that you are not good enough to set out on the career path that you're on. Sorry, guys. Thinking that you don't know enough, there's this lack mentality when it comes to career in your public life. It's time to release those ideas and really come into what you want to do. And this might be a change of what you thought you wanted to do. You're like, oh, I thought this would be a great career choice. And now you're in it. You're like, I don't know. This is not working for me. But you're like, I just don't want to seem like a failure, or I don't want to seem like I gave up. Come on, you're not. This life is too short to do something that you don't really want to do. But make sure what you do can create some financial stability and resources when it comes to your home life. So don't do something crazy and then you get kicked out of your house, right? So make sure they go into, but this is a time to maybe reevaluate that career. And it might be a change of public image for you. Maybe you go from, I always just use my example. Maybe you go from being a classroom teacher to working in schools, but not actually a classroom teacher. And that changes your public image because maybe people thought that you were going to be a teacher forever and you're like, absolutely not. And then maybe this new job takes you to a different city to live. So it's all about like looking at that balance, that opposition. Let's pull a card for you. And if you've been thinking about it, this eclipse is definitely going to bring it up for you. Let's see. It's so funny. A lot of the cards that I got this time around are reversals. And I think the reversals are just about like, but you actually haven't put your foot forward to make it happen. And here's the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is a cup of celebration. It's working with people also. And in the upright, it's like having a good time with people, celebrating celebrating new news, celebration with others. And this one is in the reverse. And so maybe you're just not really ready to celebrate the new things that are happening to you. Or maybe you feel like you can't celebrate the new things that are happening for you because people wouldn't understand. That happens when there's a change of life, right? Change of place, change of home. So don't necessarily think about, oh no, I don't have anybody to celebrate with, or no one's going to be happy for me, or I just don't know and care what people think. Aquarians, some of y'all just got over your first Saturn return. We are no longer in the space of caring what other people think when we change things in our lives. Our lives are our own. And so maybe you need to find new people also. And that changes your image because now you're with a group of people that really support you and you can have the Three of Cups and celebrate. Okay? I hope this has been helpful. Hi, Pisces and Pisces rising. This is your full moon and Scorpio eclipse video with a tarot pull at the end. And this is happening in your 9th house, that house of long distance travel, the house of higher learning, the house of faith and spirituality and legal things like law cases. So this full moon in the 9th house is really bringing forth to light some maybe, oh my God, brain, come on. This is bringing to light some issues that you're having with maybe self-esteem and really obsessing about like, I don't know if I'm good enough to apply to this course or apply to this college or apply to this program, or you're really feeling some type of way about your spirituality. Maybe it has you diving into something that you didn't think you were going to dive in. You're feeling very unsure about it. Or this could be with long distance travel, you feeling like you'll never be able to travel out of the country or overseas or wherever you need to go. And you're like, just those obsessive thoughts about, I don't know if I'll ever be able to, for this 9th house stuff. And that's, we know that's false. Anything is possible in this life when you put your mind to it and you have a plan of action and you start implementing steps. I would say don't get caught up in the emotion of thinking that you can't do any of those things, because that's what I feel like this is. This is a fellow sister, this is a fellow water sign, and so you just have to be a little bit flexible, a little bit fluid. You're a mutable sign, so you can find ways to work around it. This is in opposition to Taurus in your 3rd house, Uranus and Taurus in your 3rd house, and so maybe, I don't know, you've just been reading like too much, or people have been communicating to you and telling you like, no, that's a stupid idea, or no, you can't do that, or like, why don't you just go on this very short trip instead of planning this trip to Bali? Why don't you just go to Arizona, right? And you're like, no, that's not what my calling. Or somebody's like, why don't you do this? And you're just like, no, right? So it's this communication about what you want to do and what other people think. And so really it's about coming to yourself, coming inward and figuring out what you want to do so you can have the best life. You know, Scorpio is kind of selfish, and so really take this time has a tendency to be selfish and think about themselves. And so use that energy to think about what you want to do when it comes to those themes of long distance travel, diving deeply into a spiritual practice that maybe you didn't think that you were ever going to get into, or taking that course that you didn't think that you could take. You can. It's possible. Hangman. It's really funny because I'm getting all reversals, and, you know, I just mix up the cards, but it's in the upright, which is really the reverse. It's in the reverse because this is the Hangman, which is your card. And it's really about, you think you know, but you don't really know, right? It's about this communication, this thought of like, you're in the in-between, you want to go, but like people are like, don't go, don't make that plan, it's not safe, or whatever it might be. And you're like, no, I know it's safe. I've researched it. I've done all the things. Now, maybe I shouldn't just tell you. So it's about coming out of the Hangman energy and moving forth. You've done all the thoughts. You've made all the plans. You have thoroughly thought through the courses, the school application, the trip. Go ahead and book that, baby. Go ahead and book that.